Your first warning sign of dangerous cholesterol doesn't always show up on a lab report, it shows up on the sidewalk. 2 blocks into a simple stroll, your calf tightens like a belt. You pause for a minute, the ache melts away, you start again. And it returns at almost the exact same spot. That repeatable pattern isn't just getting older. It's your circulation raising its hand and asking for attention. When cholesterol builds up in the artery wall, the pathway for blood gets narrower. At rest, you may feel fine, but walking is a built-in stress test. Your muscles ask for more oxygen, and if the pipeline is tight, they complain. Tonight, we'll listen for 9 clear walking clues that many people miss, and we'll do it calmly and simply so you can spot them in your own routine. No fear, no jargon, just practical science, what they mean, and the small steps that protect your legs, your heart, and your brain. If any of this sounds familiar, take a breath. You're not broken, your body is sending useful data. Stay with me, because by the end you'll know how to track these patterns, what to tell your doctor, and how a few everyday changes, smarter walks, better food choices, and the right support can help you walk farther, feel warmer in your feet, and keep your future wide open. Let's start with the most common clue people notice without realizing it has a name. You set off at your usual pace, and after a fairly consistent distance, a deep ache lights up in your calf. You slow down or stop for a minute, and the ache slips away almost like someone turned off a switch. You walk again, and the same thing happens, often at the same landmark on your route. That pattern is classic intermittent claudication, and while it can feel like an ordinary cramp, it's really your muscles asking for more blood than narrowed arteries can deliver under load. The reason rest works so quickly is that demand drops the moment you stop. Pay attention to how repeatable the distance is, which leg speaks up, and whether hills or stairs make it happen sooner. Those details are surprisingly helpful when you share them with your clinician. Sometimes the ache lives higher up in the back of your thighs, or even deep in the buttocks, especially on inclines. People often blame their lower back or sciatica, but artery-related pain behaves differently. It shows up with exertion and fades quickly when you pause. Nerve pain can tingle, burn, shoot down the leg, or hang around regardless of whether you are walking or sitting. If your discomfort keeps a steady appointment with hills and vanishes within a minute of rest, circulation deserves a closer look. A simple log on your phone: today's route, when the pain began, when it eased, can turn fuzzy memories into clear patterns that speed up diagnosis. Another sign hides in the way your muscles cramp after a longer day. You take a longer walk, run errands, or climb more stairs than usual, and later that night the same calf or foot cramps hard. Cramps have many causes: hydration, electrolytes, training, but when they repeatedly target the same muscles that complain during walks, and when pausing your walk gives more relief than stretching, there's a good chance reduced blood flow is part of the picture. It's not about blaming yourself or your fitness level. Even well-conditioned people can have circulation limits if plaque has narrowed the pipes. Odd sensations count, too. Some people describe their foot going asleep after a short distance, pins and needles, numbness, a gentle buzzing that fades after they stop. Nerves are extremely sensitive to oxygen supply. During a walk, demand rises across the board: muscles, skin, and nerves. If the supply is restricted, those tingles can be the first to register the mismatch. Shakeouts, brief pauses, and shoe adjustments seem to help only because they give blood a chance to catch up. When the feeling returns at a similar distance the next day, that's another data point. Temperature tells stories we often ignore. If your feet feel notably colder than your hands, even in warm rooms, or if your toes need extra time to warm up after a stroll, circulation could be the reason. Some people describe a cold ache that makes it harder to fall asleep on nights they were more active. It's easy to shrug this off as poor socks or a chilly floor, but paired with exertional leg discomfort, it strengthens the case for a blood flow check. Compare both feet after you've been sitting for 10 minutes. If one seems cooler, paler, or slower to pink up, jot that down. Color changes are another quiet hint. When blood flow is limited, The skin can look unusually pale when you raise the leg and take on a dusky red when you lower it again, as gravity helps blood rush back in. After a brisk walk, you might notice toes that look slightly blue or grey for a few minutes, especially if the room is cool. Over months, the skin on the shins can become shiny and hair growth can thin. None of these changes prove cholesterol build-up by themselves, but together with walking pain, they sketch a clearer picture. Think of them as traffic reports from your skin. When roads are narrowed, less warmth and color make it through. Slow healing spots on the feet deserve attention, particularly if walking makes them more tender. A blister that lingers for weeks, a small cut that closes painfully slowly, or a callus that breaks down and refuses to settle all suggest the repair crews aren't getting enough supply. Good shoes matter, daily foot checks matter, and gentle care matters. But if healing remains slow even with those steps, let a professional evaluate blood flow to the area. Early attention prevents bigger problems later. You can also learn a lot from a feeling that's hard to describe: heaviness. One or both legs can feel oddly heavy or tired far earlier than they used to, almost like you're wading through shallow water. If you gently search for a pulse behind the inner ankle bone and on the top of the foot, and it's difficult to find, especially compared to the other side, that adds weight to the circulation theory. Feeling pulses can be tricky without practice, so don't panic if you can't find them. The more important part is the combination of exertional heaviness and frequent need to stop, which is worth sharing with your clinician. Finally, there's the slow, sneaky change many people miss. Your walking speed and endurance shrink month by month. The grocery store across the block turns into a 2-break trip. The park loop you loved becomes a maybe not today loop. Tiny inclines you never considered before now steer your choices. This doesn't feel like getting older. It feels like your legs negotiating with you to keep things flat and short. If you look back and realize your routes have quietly gotten shorter, that's a sign worth listening to. Now that you can name these 9 walking clues: calf pain that arrives at a predictable distance and fades with rest, ache higher up with hills, activity-linked cramps, tingling or numbness with walking, colder feet, color changes, slow healing sores, heaviness with weak or hard to find pulses, and a gradual retreat in distance and pace, the next step is to turn awareness into action. None of these signs can diagnose you on their own. Joints, nerves, and muscles can all cause similar symptoms. But when several travel together, it's wise to get a checkup focused on circulation and cholesterol. The best part, the tests are straightforward. A clinician can measure the ankle brachial index, a simple comparison of blood pressure at your ankle and in your arm. It's painless, quick, and gives a strong signal about how easily blood reaches your feet. A full cholesterol profile helps, and more clinicians look beyond a single number to non-HDL cholesterol or above the counts that reflect the particles most responsible for building plaque. Your clinician will also check blood pressure, blood sugar, and discuss smoking, because these factors often ride in the same car when it comes to artery health. In some cases, an ultrasound of the leg arteries can map where narrowing sits and how tight it is. While you're arranging that visit, you can do a few simple observations at home. Choose a familiar route, walk at a comfortable pace, and note where your symptoms begin. Time how long it takes for the discomfort to fade when you stop. Try the same route on a day with a small hill and see if the ache arrives earlier. After sitting quietly for 10 minutes at home, compare the warmth of both feet with the back of your hand and look at their color. If you feel confident, very gently feel for a pulse on the top of each foot and behind each inner ankle bone. The goal here isn't to self-diagnose. It's to collect useful notes you can hand to your clinician so they can move faster to help you. If this is sounding like your story, take heart. There is a lot you can do, and improvement often arrives faster than you expect. If you smoke, the single most powerful move is to stop. Smoking injures the inner lining of arteries and accelerates plaque growth. Quitting is like easing off a steep downhill. Nobody quits perfectly. If you need help, ask for it: nicotine replacement, medications, counseling, and support groups dramatically increase success. Next comes a surprisingly effective training plan, Walk Rest Walk. It feels backward to walk into the discomfort on purpose, but that controlled stress encourages your body to build side streets around blockages, called collateral circulation. Pick a safe route. Walk until the ache begins. Stop and rest until it fades. Start again. Aim for 30 to 40 minutes most days, not counting the rest periods. If you're worried about doing this alone or have other health conditions, ask your clinician about a supervised program. Even a few coach sessions can teach you the rhythm. Many people see their pain-free distance double within a month, and the confidence boost is tremendous. Food can be a quiet ally. There's no magic ingredient, but patterns matter. A plate that's rich in fiber from vegetables, fruits, beans, and whole grains helps pull cholesterol from the body. Healthy fats from olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fish support a better balance of blood lipids. Saturated and trans fats tend to push things in the wrong direction, so easing back on processed meats, deep-fried foods, and heavy pastries is a win. Swap butter for olive oil when you can. Try oats at breakfast and add beans to salads or soups. Keep it realistic. The changes you can keep beat the perfect plan you abandon in a week. Medication is sometimes the bridge you need, while lifestyle changes do their work. If your risk is elevated, your clinician may recommend a statin or another cholesterol-lowering therapy. These medicines don't just lower numbers. They stabilize plaque, making it less likely to rupture and cause clots. For some people, especially those with very high cholesterol, diabetes, or a strong family history, additional medications may be appropriate. Think of this as customizing your toolkit. Nothing about taking a pill means you failed. It means you're choosing an evidence-based way to protect your blood vessels. Because the arteries in your legs and the arteries to your heart and brain share the same biology, paying attention to walking clues protects you everywhere. If walking brings on chest pressure or unusual shortness of breath, or if you ever notice sudden trouble speaking, face droop, or weakness on one side of the body, treat those as emergencies and seek immediate care. For leg-only symptoms, book an appointment soon rather than someday. Early care prevents late crises. Let's turn all this knowledge into a simple plan. Start this week. Pick 3 days for Walk Rest Walk sessions and put them on your calendar like appointments. Choose routes that feel safe and familiar. Keep brief notes. Distance to symptom, rest time, how you felt afterward. Add a small food goal. Nail 1 extra piece of fruit daily, and 1 extra serving of vegetables at dinner is a great start. Place your water bottle where you'll see it. If you take medications, use a weekly organizer and tie doses to daily routines like brushing your teeth. None of this needs to be heroic. Consistency beats intensity. It's also worth inviting a friend or family member into this plan. A walking partner makes it easier to keep the appointments with yourself and turns the sessions into something you look forward to. If you prefer going solo, try a podcast or a favorite playlist saved just for these walks, so the time feels like a treat. Track your progress every Sunday. How many breaks did you need on your main routes 3 weeks ago versus this week? Did your feet feel warmer after walks this week? Did that tiny blister finally heal? Little wins are real wins. Throughout this journey, be kind to yourself. Bodies change, and noticing those changes early is an act of care, not a sign that something is wrong with you. Many people start exactly where you are, puzzled by a repeating ache on walks, and months later reports they're going farther, stopping less, and sleeping better. They talk about feeling more at home in their bodies again. You deserve that, too. Before we close, a gentle reminder. Everything you heard here is for education and support, not diagnosis. Only a clinician who knows your history and examines you can tell you exactly what's going on. If your leg becomes suddenly cold, pale, or extremely painful, if toes turn blue or black, or if you have chest pain, severe shortness of breath, or signs of a stroke, seek emergency care immediately. Otherwise, use what you've learned as a guide, for a thoughtful conversation with your doctor. Ask about a full cholesterol profile. Ask whether an ankle brachial index test makes sense for you. Share your walking notes. You're not guessing anymore, you're bringing evidence from your own daily life. If any of the 9 walking signs sounded familiar, share which one in the comments. Your story can help someone else connect the dots. And if this gave you a nudge to protect your arteries, consider sending it to a friend who loves a good walk. Here's to steady steps, warm toes, strong calves, and a healthier heart supporting every mile you travel.